Welcome everyone to this week's edition of Keller Railroad, where today we are going to be working on the Kato LED install kits. Now these are both for the HO scale and the N scale. I've already done most of my coach and sleeper cars, which are the double deck cars, on the N scale and the HO scale. So today I'm going to be working on my mail car for the HO scale, and then I've got some little commuter, which is like a 1.5 size and a single decker size. So first thing you get when you open up the HO scale one is you get a little packet. You've got 2 plastic rails for the light. Of course, you get your instruction manual. Now this is very confusing. The first couple times I did this, I was completely lost at this. Kind of just followed the pictures the best way I could, and that was really confusing. But the first thing we got to do is take apart the car. Now all Kato cars are just pinched together. So actually, if you spread the sides of them apart just a little bit, they just pull straight out. The bottoms will pull out. Now on this car, it also has some LED units on the inside, so we'll have to get those pulled out, and they just snap in and out of place. No screws or anything to take out. Make sure you keep eye on everything. Now, what you're going to see me point out are all the tabs and stuff that hold the plastic in. And those are the tabs for the metal rails to go in. So that's going to be the very first thing we're going to install. There's 2 rails that come with it, so we're going to install those in place. If you are working on the double-decker style cars, which would be the sleeper and coach cars, those rails are actually longer and they come with the cars. Now I'm working on assembling the inside with the plastics. Now those actually just slip over each other. The plastic have little itty bitty indentions on them that allow the things to catch into place. Now what I was trying to do was set up my diffuser. It's the little orange plastic piece that you're seeing right there. I put those in on my cars. Now if you want your car to be a little brighter, do not put the diffuser in. I use 2 small dabs of super glue just on the little hole tabs that push in there, and all that's doing is holding it into place so it doesn't fall off every time that I'm trying to install. Otherwise it keeps falling off and it drives me nuts. So that's just a little trick that I've done. It does not say that in the instructions at all. There are also some tabs and stuff that you'll have to put on the main circuit board. It's really easy, self-explanatory, nothing extravagant with that. The biggest thing I want to show is how to get the bars in, because a lot of people get confused with those. Now this particular one actually came with 2 little white strips of paper for you as well that you can glue in at the top or place in there. I will most likely glue those in here momentarily, but I'm going to do a test fit here real quick. Make sure everything sets down into place. And they just, like I said, it just pops into place. There's little itty bitty tabs on each side going all the way down, and you're going to put that piece of plastic in between those tabs. It doesn't push through or anything, it just, those tabs literally pinch that into place. But the problem that I found out is I need to shorten this rail. Now each rail has little indentions on it that you can either take a set of side cutters to, or you can lightly snap it apart like I just did. And the reason for it is that LED.
3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED. 3 LED.
which would be the sleepers and everything else, you do not need to take this and do not need to shorten that up. You can leave those full length on there. Alright, so now I'm touching up. I'm putting just a little small dabs of glue in there to hold this paper down up against the ceiling. That will help diffuse some lighting a little better. Alright, now that that's all finished up, I can again put this piece together. Remember, the flared out piece of white goes toward the outside of the LED, not toward the LED itself. And this does not actually pinch all the way up to the ceiling. It does not go touch the ceiling. It kind of sits in the air a little bit. But now you can see I've got a little gap there on both ends, so now my lights can actually fit in there. With it pinched into place, it's not rattling around and moving. Alright, and that seems to be everything. So now I've got everything backed in. Where the electronics are at, there's two little connectors there that will pinch in between those other two copper wires that we just put in earlier. When you snap it all down, it makes the final connection. And that's all there is to it. So that car is done. Now that is how you do an HO scale car. The N scales are pretty close to the same, but just a little bit different. So let's get into those. First thing is, the kit that I bought was a 6-pack because I have 3 cars to do. Now this comes with the same basic set as an HO scale, so all these plastic pieces for the light diffusion is the exact same that are on the HO scale. So for this 6-car one, you're using an individual one for each car, so there are going to be 6 of those because you only use one of those. Then of course you've also got your little copper rail pieces. You've got your diffusers, you've got your manual, which again, very confusing. At least it was for me. So it's a lot of following, picture guidelines the best I could. And then of course you've got the LED unit itself. Now this comes pre-assembled, although the instructions show you how to put it together too. Okay, so let's tear apart a car. Now all these cars are the exact same as the HO scale. They're just pinched together so you can pull the sides apart just a little bit, rattle them away. Kind of pry out one little end. It does not take a lot of pressure. Once you get one little corner out, it literally falls out. So do not pry a lot of pressure. Okay, so I've kind of fast forward a little bit. I'm working on the last car. I've actually done the other 2 already, but I'm showing that I'm placing the diffuser in first. It does not actually attach to the LED assembly. Now it has a tab in the very center. It's extra thick on there, and there's one tab right in the center of the car. You actually line that up together and pinch that together right on that line. So the tab will pinch right in between those two little tabs that are on there. And then that just holds itself into place. Alright, so now for the LED portion, since it becomes assembled, I need to unassemble it because I want to put the amber diffuser in there for the lighting. Now this is very hard. I have tried this before even with tweezers. You can use those if you like. I found it just as hard as I do when I'm doing it with my fingers. So you can use a hobby knife to lightly take off those diffusers apart from each other if you like, or if you want, you can turn around and just lightly twist those off. They do come off pretty clean. So alright, this is hard to really show this part, but you can see that little bit of amber light in there, and then it all just pushes back together. But that's what I was installing. Now I have to put the two copper leads in on the end of the car. They just slide straight in. That's for the contact of the main LED unit. Make sure they're securely pushed all the way in. They sit between two little tabs back there, which is what the LED assembly slides into. So you'll make the contacts with this LED slide, make sure that they hit with the copper contacts that attach to the wheels. And you can also line up that back little window area as well. Then it's a simple process of sliding it back over, snapping it together, and that is all there is to it for that. Now I will say, the video makes it look a lot quicker and easier than what it really is as far as time-wise. Alright, so here I am on my layout. You can see now that I have my mail car and it's lit up. You can see that I've got it's sliding around and works great next to my Bachmann cars. And here is the N-Scale one, all lit up and running around. So thank you again for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see y'all next week.